remember some time ago, we discussed about the quality, or rather the non-qualification of professionals being employed by the NHS. We, on two opportunities, brought up the case of a supposed technician of I think it was a tomograph machine,
Mm.
doing these computerized tomographs, where it was found out they weren't even trained to work on an X-ray
Yeah.
on an X-ray machine. Or the lady who used to split her shifts with an illegal immigrant friend of hers until they were found out because the friend using her crusher
Yeah.
at work was a bloke. Well, it seems that old habits die hard. Recently, a nutritionist was fired because, well, basically they weren't a nutritionist.
Oh,
Not only were they not qualified, but they didn't know the basic facts about nutrition. Ifeniyanawa Chizudi Naluvi Nonso is the name,
mm.
was hired by the Manchester Royal Infirmary as a dietitian in 2024. Arriving from Nigeria,
Mm.
hence the name,
Yeah.
she claimed to have experience in the field. I think she was related to that prince who has all his finances hidden in a secret bank account.
Yeah.
And
I keep meaning to reply to his email one day. Yeah.
that's right. He's been sending them to me too.
Yeah.
Apparently it was a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I digress.
Yeah.
The lady didn't know where the digestive tract was, and didn't
Mm.
know the difference between the large and small intestine. This nutritionist.
Oh dear.
She applied for a role in August of 2023.
Mm.
She was the only one interviewed for the job and was deemed apt by the interviewers.
Mm.
Only after several red flags were seen by staff and several review interviews, she was suspended, being declared unsafe to practice. So once again, we can see that the difficulty there is to have homegrown doctors at the NHS, many for political and ideological reasons. The importation of the anybodies seems to prevail.
Yeah.
Not only is it dangerous, this sort of thing, because I'm sure that even deaths may have occurred due to malpractice by foreign doctors,
Well, yeah. That's
right? But
medical.
it leaves open the question as to how these people are engaged in the first place. I mean, where is the criteria?
Mm. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
There you are.
Exactly. Well, okay. I mean, when we talk about engagement, I've been applying for third party roles in what I do now, and I've got my certificates here, and even I have to show my certificates now to get engaged doing what I do, and I'm not going to kill anyone. Well, I hope not, anyway. So yeah, I'd imagine if you go for a role, especially in a medical profession, you would I mean, a certificate just says you're competent to prove that you're competent to do something. Okay. And yeah, you have to be certified. Okay, in as a medical practitioner. Um, it is I just can't believe now. I'm not quite sure. I mean, even here, when we talk about nutritionists, every morning or 3 times a week at least, you turn on the morning news, the local morning news here, and they always have got a nutritionist telling you different things. I don't know how many nutritionists there are in the northeast of Brazil region. There just seems to be a queue, must be waiting at the TV doors. But it is a specialist field. Um, I mean, okay, in this case, I don't know what real harm could have been done, providing they weren't prescribing going and eating um, McDonald's every day. Maybe there are special diets like celiac diets and things like this. Yeah, that could be dangerous.
In this podcast, I almost decided to. There was another nutritionist
Yeah.
who was also sacked,
Mm.
uh, because she said that a cure for cancer was drinking lime water, right? And she said you had to chew your food 32 times
That's an old one, the
before you
32. Yeah.
swallow it,
Yeah. It's the old one, 32 or something like that. Yeah. True. So
right?
many times. Yeah.
So, um, it isn't an isolated case, apparently.
No, I mean,
And even if, well, look, even if we talked about a nutritionist this
yeah.
time,
Yeah.
but I mean, if the criteria from the NHS is just to accept anybody, and
Mm,
with all due respect to the certificates,
mm,
I've got a certificate of all sorts of different things. Doesn't mean
mm.
to say they're real or recognised.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You can only employ somebody by speaking with them face to face
Mm.
and finding out what they do actually know.
Well, this is it. I mean, if you get, I mean, in my particular field now, I have a certificate that's actually regulated by the UK government. Yeah. And it's got a unique
Okay?
number and everything else. Yeah. Um,
Show me a certificate. I can make a copy of that
well,
on
yeah, okay.
my laptop here, and I can print it out, and I can have one too.
Yeah,
That's what I'm trying to get at. That's what I'm
yeah,
trying to,
yeah. And
you know.
that's the point I'm making, but it's traceable. Yeah. If it's got a U number on it or something, you can go to the administrative board of it, yeah, and say, who does this belong to? So if you do a copy of it, a scan of it, and then you Photoshop it is the term we use, but yeah, I've done things not use Photoshop, but totally legitimate reasons I may add. I've never changed certificates, but I've changed things on different things occasionally, not for nefarious reasons. I'm not going to go to details, but um, it is a but it's traceable to me, and it's like I've got my engineering qualifications
Well,
traceable to
you would have thought, yeah, you would have thought that somebody from the NHS would have
yeah.
done a little bit of due diligence.
Yeah, I mean, okay, admittedly, sometimes I've gone into somewhere, I show my certificates, they've asked me a few technical questions, I've answered it. Or how would you approach this situation? I got asked this the other day in my field yesterday. How would you approach the situation? This particular thing. And yeah, and I gave an answer. Yeah, how I would feel from experience, from knowledge, and from doing this course. Yeah, having shown the certificates and everything, and proved the degree of competence. And I am known to somebody who's part of the thing as well. So, which does help, admittedly. I haven't just appeared out of nowhere, but um, it is a. Um, I mean, if somebody's to come from overseas, yeah, that could be a bit more difficult. I know in Brazil, me trying to get back into engineering is difficult here, even with my certificates, because people don't know what it is. And are they going to go and write off to
That's,
various bodies?
that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. And the answer to that, I've been told, is a resounding no. Because, yeah, unless you can, it's not they disbelieve me, has been explained to me. I don't have a degree. Yeah, I have, yeah, just below a degree, maybe. But it is a, um, yes, it is a problem. If you've got homegrown qualified people or somebody that's done a bridging course before you practice law in the US, even if you've got a law degree in the UK, you have to go and do an additional course or
Yes, of course.
qualification in the US. And then you can, in the US, it's a bit different. You can only practice in certain regions in the US with these as well. Um, yes, just because you have a certificate doesn't mean you're competent, as you said. That has to be established. Um, I would have, I mean, yes, I have contact with medical people in Brazil, and I'm using it as an example here because yeah, I didn't have much contact with medical people in the UK. Only when I went and saw a doctor, and I presumed they were qualified because it's behind a desk in a practice. Yeah, um, and doctors here, even in Brazil, all the time they're being not seen, been assessed. They're attending retraining. They're attending conferences of new
Yes, of
techniques,
course. Yes, of
and
course.
they're always updating their knowledge. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I've been in conversation with them, and it's not a case of, oh, I've got this this problem here. What do you think it is, doctor? We just talk generally, and yeah, they're more than happy to explain things because obviously they're practicing doing it in English. But yeah, it's all the time prove your competence. I really don't know how somebody could get through. I mean, I learned that at 12 years old about basics about the human digestive system, the esophagus,
Yep. At
and
school.
the skull, yeah, the stomach, yeah, the liver, the kidneys, yeah, okay, through to the small intestines and the big intestines, and I can picture it all now. Could I remember exactly how it all works and everything else? I could probably draw you a drawing of it, yeah, roughly, um, even without looking at a picture. It, so to not to know that is downright embarrassing. You can go on the internet and look at that, yeah. Um, and then how the muscles will work to get it to there, and like different types of food react in different ways. Okay, they're chewing it
Well,
32 times. Yeah.
in this case, this lady couldn't do that. So
Well, maybe I'm missing an opportunity of employment in the UK.
you have to go back to the UK and try and join the NHS.
It is worrying. I mean, again, when it comes to nutrition, um, the trouble is, yeah, we've all become experts on things because of Google and now because of AI. Yeah. We're not all experts. You and I could have a conversation. We all but know what foods are good for us, what foods are bad for us, what foods interfere with us personally. Yeah. Um, there's some foods I'd like to eat, but I can't because I know the next day, yeah, it might not be such a good thing for me. Um, and drink and everything else. Yeah. Um, so yeah, we've all got a basic knowledge of all this. So she couldn't even do that.
Yeah.
Yes, that's troubling. Um, I yes, like you say, I would like to know the recruitment criteria, or no, I wouldn't like to know it. What is you rightly say?
It might be the fact that she's from Nigeria. That is the fact that, this day and age, you never know. NHS, DEI.
I wouldn't like to think that. I would like to think that people are still employed on their competence. Yeah.
Well, we know that in the UK, we've
Mm.
done a podcast about it, of
Yeah.
course, about medical students, not being able to go into hospitals to work
Mm.
to gain experience because simply they were white and they were British, and it didn't fit the criteria of the NHS at that time. So, I can only go on that.
Well,
Still, we live in hope, don't we?
the fact that these cases are getting some air, some publicity, is rather embarrassing for the people concerned. I mean, I wouldn't say the NHS is a joke. The NHS it still was a wonderful thing. Yeah, I still believe in an adequate state health system to keep your population healthy. Um,
Yeah,
and
it needs to be adequate now. It needs to be adequate.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the point I'm making. Adequate. I don't say excellent. Okay, if you want if you want the Rolls Royce, you might have to pay extra for it. But if you want to be able to go to a doctor or something and
No,
have,
sir. No, sir. No, sir. No
yeah,
such thing as in a Rolls Royce service when it comes to medicine.
mm,
There's only one way or two ways to cure something, and the rest is just
yeah, how nice the beds are and how
yeah.
clean how well painted the room is.